Hello and welcome to 3.4. This is perimeter and circumference. Okay, so your first definition is perimeter, which is the distance around a closed curve. Okay, so this lesson in its entirety should be review. Okay, if it is not review, then we have some remedial work to do, but hopefully you've done perimeter before, probably in elementary school, and all this means is we're going to collect the units of the distance around. So if I add up 10, 8, and 24, then the perimeter of triangle ABC is what? 22. And our first theorem is that the perimeter of a regular n-gon, okay, don't confuse n-gon with nonagon. Nonagon has 9 sides, and n-gon means that we don't know how many sides it has, okay? It can have any number of sides. But if it's a regular polygon, then all we have to do is know one of the lengths of one side and multiply it by how many sides it has. So the number of sides times the side length will give us the perimeter. So here we have a regular pentagon. So pentagon means I have 5 sides. 5 times 9 is 45, which would be 45 units would be the perimeter of this regular pentagon. Circumference is the distance around a circle. The only difference between a perimeter and a circumference is that circumference is on a circle. Okay? Circumference is the perimeter of a circle. But we have a special formula because it's really hard to use a ruler to measure sides of a circle. Okay? So given a diameter of a circle and the circumference c, you would have circumference equals pi times the diameter. Okay? Pi is an irrational number that is the ratio of circumference divided by diameter. So it always is approximately 3.1415. We are not going to use approximations in geometry. Okay? It's super important that you use the pi button on your calculator and that you do not put in 3.1415 or even 3.14. You will not get a correct answer, okay, because we are going to be rounding as we go. So since diameter is twice the radius, or 2r, we can also write it as circumference equals 2 pi r, which you might be more familiar with one of these formulas versus the other, but again, hopefully this is review. Okay, I am not including any examples, but there are a couple in your text. I believe they have one talking about the circumference of a cylinder, a soup can. You can also look on page 100, and there are some practice problems you can do like 1 through 7, and just go ahead and practice if you'd like, but I am not requiring any. Here's what we're going to do instead. On this whisk summary, you're going to draw several rectangles with different areas, but each one has to have a perimeter of 22 inches. That is non-negotiable. Okay, so after you make a few rectangles, I want you to find out which dimension has the maximum area. Okay, and remember, you might need fractions here. It might be a half of an inch or a quarter of an inch. I want you to be creative here to find what is the maximum area. And then I want you to also find what has the minimum area. Okay, so go ahead and submit this to me via email, and I will see you in class.